I'm so excited to be with you today, and I want to speak directly to your heart. There's a truth that I've come to understand, and it's something that can change your life when you grab hold of it. When you focus on yourself, everything changes. I know it might sound like a bold statement, but I want you to hear me today. Sometimes the key to transformation is not in looking outward, but in looking inward. Too often, we're caught up in the distractions of life, the opinions of others, and the overwhelming pressures that surround us. We forget that the first step to becoming who we are truly meant to be is to focus on the person staring back at us in the mirror. Today, we're going to explore how focusing on yourself isn't selfish, it's necessary. When you take the time to pour into yourself, your mindset, your purpose, your self-worth, you unlock doors that you never thought were possible. This journey is about empowerment, growth, and creating a life where you're living intentionally, not by accident. And yes, everything around you will change when you start changing your focus. Let's dive in together and let these 4 keynotes guide us as we walk this powerful journey of transformation in the hustle of life. It's so easy to lose sight of who you are. We're all constantly moving, trying to keep up with our responsibilities, our relationships, and our dreams. But in all that movement, we forget the most important thing, the person we're becoming in the process. Self-awareness is the first step toward creating lasting change. If you're not aware of what's going on inside of you, how can you expect to know where to go, what to do, or who to become? To live intentionally, you must first become deeply aware of your thoughts, your actions, and your emotional state. Self-awareness begins with asking yourself the tough questions. Who am I really? What are the things I've been carrying that no longer serve me? What beliefs or habits am I holding on to that keep me stuck in a cycle of unfulfilled potential? You have to dig deep into your inner world and confront both the good and the bad. This isn't about judgment. It's about gaining insight. It's about understanding the root causes of your reactions, your fears, and even your triumph. You see, the more self-aware you become, the more control you have over your future. Often we spend our lives reacting to the world around us, constantly looking for validation from others or external circumstances. But self-awareness is the process of turning inward, of understanding that everything you need to navigate life is already within you. When you know who you are, you can make choices that align with your values, your purpose, and your vision. You begin to move with intention, knowing exactly where you're headed and why. Without self-awareness, you're like a ship without a rudder, drifting aimlessly from one thing to the next. Self-awareness also allows you to recognize the patterns that have been holding you back. Maybe you've been repeating the same mistakes over and over, or maybe there are certain triggers that set you off emotionally. When you become aware of these patterns, you can interrupt them before they control your life. You can make a conscious decision to break free from the things that have been holding you back. But this process starts with acknowledging what needs to change within you first. Take a moment and think about the areas of your life where you feel stuck. What's the story you've been telling yourself about those areas? What emotions come up when you think about them? Are you willing to dig deep enough to uncover the truth? It's easy to blame external circumstances or other people for where we are, but the real work begins when we take responsibility for our own growth. Self-awareness is the foundation of that responsibility. The beauty of self-awareness is that it allows you to embrace your authenticity. When you are truly aware of who you are, you can stop pretending to be someone you're not in order to fit in. You stop chasing after someone else's dreams and start pursuing your own. You stop comparing yourself to others and begin to appreciate your own unique journey. It's in this space of authenticity that you can begin to live with confidence because you know that you are enough as you are. You are worthy of love, of success, and of all the good things that God has in store for you. Self-awareness also opens the door for self-acceptance. So often we resist parts of ourselves that we don't like. We try to change them, hide them, or pretend they don't exist. But self-awareness allows us to see those parts without judgment. That when we can accept story and no one else can tell it for you. So today I challenge you to take a deep, honest look at your life. Ask yourself, what's going on inside of me? What patterns do I need to break? What truths do I need to confront? The journey of self-awareness may not always be easy, but it will always be worth it. And when you commit to this process, you commit to becoming the best version of yourself. And that's when everything changes. Boundaries are often misunderstood, but they are essential for healthy relationships and personal growth. Many people shy away from setting boundaries because they fear it will make them seem selfish, distant, or even unkind. But the reality is that boundaries are not about pushing others away. They are about creating the space you need to preserve your energy, protect your peace, and honor your values. Things that drain you, what makes you feel overwhelmed or stressed, what situations cause you to feel disrespected or unheard. These are the areas where you need boundaries the most. Sometimes setting boundaries means saying no to requests that don't align with your values or priorities. It can be difficult, especially when you feel the pressure to please others. But learning to say no is essential to protecting your peace. Boundaries are also crucial in maintaining your mental and emotional health. When you allow others to overstep your personal space, whether physically, emotionally, or mentally, you risk compromising your well-being. People may not always understand your boundaries, and that's okay. It's not your job to explain or justify your needs to anyone. What matters is that you are clear with yourself about what you can and cannot tolerate. You can express your boundaries with kindness and respect, but never at the expense of your own peace and well-being. In relationships, whether with family, friends, or colleagues, setting boundaries ensures that your interactions remain healthy and balanced. It's easy to fall into patterns where you're constantly giving to others without taking the time to care for yourself. But when you neglect your own needs, it creates a cycle of burnout, resentment, and frustration. Boundaries help you maintain steps to protect your mental health, such as setting aside time for reflection, meditation, or journaling. It may also include managing your stress levels and avoiding negative influences or toxic environments that drain your mental energy. Emotional self-care, on the other hand, involves acknowledging and addressing your feelings. It's about giving yourself permission to feel what you're feeling without judgment or suppression. When we take care of our emotions, we create space for healing, growth, and peace. Self-care is also about setting boundaries with yourself and others. This ties into the earlier point of setting boundaries in general. In order to maintain a healthy sense of self-care, you must learn how to say no when necessary. Whether it's declining an invitation you don't have the energy for, or turning off your phone for a few hours to disconnect, saying no is an important part of self-care. You need to protect your enough. I'll never succeed, or I don't deserve happiness. Then you're setting the stage for failure. Those negative thoughts become self-fulfilling prophecies. The more you repeat them, the more they become ingrained in your subconscious, influencing your actions, your decisions, and even the way you interact with others. But when you consciously replace those negative statements with positive affirmations, you begin to shift your mindset. You start believing in your worth and your potential, and in your ability to overcome whatever life throws your way. Possessing self-talk isn't about ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing to focus on the possibilities instead of the limitations. Life is full of ups and downs, and we all experience setbacks. But it's how we talk to ourselves during those times that matters. Instead of saying, this is too hard, try saying, I can handle this, or I am capable of getting through this. Instead of saying, I'm not good enough, say, I am worthy of success and happiness. This simple shift in language may seem small, but it can have a profound impact on your mindset and your outcomes. One of the most powerful tools for cultivating positive self-talk is the use of affirmations. Affirmations are positive, present tense statements that help reprogram your subconscious mind. When you speak affirmations, you're declaring your worth, your strength, and your potential. You're sending a message to yourself and the universe that you believe in your ability to create the life you desire. For example, instead of saying, I don't have enough money, replace it with, I am financially abundant and open to receiving wealth. Instead of saying, I can't do this, try, I am capable and I am confident in my ability to succeed. The more you say these affirmations, the more you begin to believe them and the more they shape your reality. However, positive self-talk goes beyond just repeating words. It's about truly believing in the words you're saying. To make this shift, you need to cultivate self-awareness and become mindful of your inner dialogue. Pay attention to the thoughts you have throughout the day. Are they positive or negative? Are they empowering or limiting? When negative thoughts arise, challenge them. Ask yourself, is this really true? What evidence do I have to support this belief? How can I reframe this thought in a way that empowers me? By becoming conscious of your self-talk and actively choosing to shift it, you begin to take control of your thoughts instead of letting them control you. People's self-talk also plays a significant role in building resilience. Life isn't always smooth sailing and setbacks are inevitable. But when you engage in positive self-talk, you build the mental and emotional strength needed to persevere through tough times. Resilience doesn't come from avoiding challenges. It comes from how we respond to them. When you face adversity, positive self-talk helps you stay focused on solutions rather than problems. Instead of giving up, you'll find the strength to keep going because you've trained your mind to believe that setbacks are just stepping stones on the way to success. Additionally, positive self-talk can improve your physical health. Research has shown that our thoughts and emotions have a direct impact on our physical well-being. When we engage in negative self-talk, it creates stress and tension in the body, which can lead to a host of physical issues such as headaches, fatigue, and digestive problems. On the other hand, positive self-talk can help reduce stress, lower blood pressure, and improve overall health. By cultivating a positive mindset, you're not only improving your mental and emotional well-being, but your physical health as well. When you believe in your ability to overcome challenges and create a positive future, your body responds accordingly. And another important aspect of positive self-talk is its impact on relationships. The way you speak to yourself affects the way you interact with others. If you constantly berate yourself, criticize yourself, or feel unworthy, it can be difficult to show up authentically in your relationships. But when you practice positive self-talk, you begin to value yourself more, which leads to healthier, more fulfilling connections with others. When you believe in your worth, you set the tone for how others treat you. Positive self-talk helps you attract people who affirm your value and support you in your growth. Let's talk for a moment about the importance of kindness in your self-talk. Would you ever say to a friend the harsh and critical things you say to yourself? Would you ever tell someone you love that they're not good enough or that they'll never succeed? Of course not. Yet so often we're our own worst critics. We say things to ourselves that we would never dream of saying to others. This inner critic can be incredibly damaging and holds us back from stepping into our true potential. When you practice positive self-talk, you become your own cheerleader. You speak to yourself with love, encouragement, and compassion. You acknowledge your strengths and celebrate your wins, no matter how small. By speaking kindly to yourself, you create a foundation of self-worth that allows you to thrive. It's also important to remember that positive self-talk is a habit. And like any habit, it takes time and consistency to develop. You won't change your mindset overnight, but with patience and practice, you will. You begin to notice the shifts. It may feel awkward at first, especially if you're used to being hard on yourself. But with time, you'll begin to feel more confident, more empowered, and more at peace with who you are. Positive self-talk is a lifelong practice that can change the way you experience yourself and the world around you. So today, I challenge you to pay attention to your self-talk. What are you saying to yourself? How are you speaking to yourself in times of struggle or success? Are you lifting yourself up or tearing yourself down? Start shifting your words to reflect the truth of who you are. strong, capable, worthy, and deserving of all the good things life has to offer. You have the power to change the narrative of your life simply by changing the way you speak to yourself. When you choose positive self-talk, you choose a life of empowerment, growth, and success. Everything in your life will begin to change when you change the way you talk to yourself. Time and energy, and sometimes that means setting limits on what you're willing to take on. Self-care requires making choices that prioritize your well-being, even if that means disappointing others or stepping away from obligations that no longer serve you. It's also important to recognize that self-care is an ongoing practice, not a one-time fix. Many of us wait until we're completely exhausted or burnt out to practice self-care. But the reality is that self-care needs to be incorporated into your routine on a regular basis. Just like you wouldn't wait until your car breaks down to take it for an oil change, you can't wait until you're running on empty to take care of yourself. Regular self-care practices will help you maintain your health, happiness, and energy levels long before you hit that burnout point. By making self-care a part of your daily or weekly routine, you'll find that you can approach life's challenges with more clarity, focus, and resilience. Self-care is also about being kind to yourself. We can be our own worst critics, often pushing ourselves too hard and expecting perfection, but practicing self-care involves showing yourself compassion. It's okay to not have everything figured out. It's okay to take a break, rest, and recharge without feeling guilty. In fact, it's necessary. When you treat yourself with kindness and compassion, you release the pressure to be perfect and embrace the beauty of imperfection. Self-care is about accepting yourself as you are and giving yourself permission to rest and recover when needed. Additionally, self-care can be a spiritual practice. For many people, connecting with a higher power through prayer, meditation, or simply spending time in nature can be incredibly restorative. Spiritual self-care helps you tap into a sense of peace and grounding that can't be found in material things. It's about nourishing your soul and reconnecting with the deeper meaning of life. This practice helps you stay centered and balanced, even in the face of life's storms. As you begin to prioritize self-care in your life, it's important to recognize that this is a process, not an event. It takes time to unlearn old habits of neglecting your own needs and begin incorporating new practices of self-love and care. But I encourage you to start small. Begin by setting aside a few minutes each day for yourself, whether it's through meditation, taking a walk, or simply sitting in silence. As you continue to nurture yourself, you'll start to notice the positive changes in your life. You'll feel more energized, more grounded, and more present with the people around you. You'll have the strength to face challenges with grace and the clarity to pursue your goals with confidence. When you practice self-care, you're sending a powerful message to yourself. I am worthy of love and care. I matter. Self-care isn't about being selfish. It's about being intentional about your own well-being. It's about recognizing that you can't give from an empty vessel. By taking care of yourself, you're not only benefiting yourself, but you're also showing up as the best version of yourself for those you love and care for. You are worth the time and effort it takes to care for yourself. And when you honor that, everything in your life begins to change. Start today. What can you do for yourself right now that will replenish your energy and restore your spirit? What small act of self-care can you commit to this week? Remember, self-care is not a luxury, it's a necessity. You are worthy of it. Our thoughts shape our reality. What we think about ourselves, the world around us, and our potential influences every aspect of our lives. Positive self-talk isn't just a nice-to-have trait. It is a powerful tool for transformation. In fact, the way we speak to ourselves often determines how we show up in the world. Our inner dialogue can either empower or disempower us. And the words we speak to ourselves, whether out loud or in our minds, shape our self-esteem, our confidence, and our belief in what's possible. If you've been operating with a negative mindset or engaging in self-criticism, it's time to change the narrative. When you change the way you talk to yourself, everything around you begins to shift. Possessing self-talk is the foundation of self-love and self-acceptance. We all face challenges, obstacles, and moments of doubt, but the way we respond to those challenges is crucial. If you're constantly telling yourself, I'm not good,